Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to today's Under the Microscope series. This is a series where we play with a deck that is maybe not as played as much in the metagame. However, it's still a developed deck and it's been around for quite some time. And it's just not played as much, right? So here we are going to try to look into it and see how it's doing in the current modern metagame. So what we have in front of us here is Grixis Delver. Now this is a deck that I've played a lot on my channel. You can go ahead and find the playlists on my channel. I think I have a Modern Blue-Black X playlist / Grixis. Maybe I named it like that. And you can find that it's basically the first deck I ever recorded with on my channel. So, you know, me and Grixis Delver go way back. It's the first deck I ever 5-0'd with on a competitive Magic Online league, which was awesome. So Grixis Delver is a sweet deck, but of course it's kind of been pushed aside due to Grixis Shadow's prevalence, and also the fact that the tempo plan doesn't work so great when your opponent is doing some really busted stuff like Humans does or Bridgevine does. But at the same time, I'm still convinced that you know, the turn 1 Delver into turn 2 counter magic plus removal plan could get the job done. I don't know, maybe I'm a fool, but I do think that sometimes having a turn 1 threat is just better than, you know, having a turn 3 threat. Also, the fact that you don't need to get your life total down so low means your burn matchup is better. And if anyone saw the results over the weekend at the SCG Open, burn was everywhere. It didn't win, at least I don't think. Maybe it did win the Classic, but it was just everywhere. There was like, I don't know, there were like 12, 13, 14 burn lists in the top 32 of the Classic, and around like 5 or 6 in the Open. Again, my numbers might be a little off. I'm going off of memory here, but it's all over the place. So, point is, having a better burn matchup as a Grixis deck is definitely something that you want to achieve, you know, with your Grixis deck. But overall, that's the deck we have in front of us here. Give you a bit of an overview. Essentially, what you try to do with this deck is, if you've never seen it before, is play this card called Delver of Secrets. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card. If it's an instant or sorcery, you flip it. So essentially, for 1 mana, you can get a 3/2 flyer, which is really powerful. You're basically lightning bolting your opponent every turn for 1 mana. So the fact that you can pair that with a bunch of other powerful cards means you can really get aggressive. And so we clearly have a very high density of instants and sorceries. We've got 10 cantrips, we have 2 opt, 4 serum visions, 4 thought scour. Now the reason we break it down this way is because thought scour enables another half of our deck, which is the Tasigur Gurmag Angler, Snapcaster, Kolaghan's Command plan, which is you know, Gurmag Angler and Tasigur act as basically Delver's number 5 through 8, because very often they're also 1 mana threats, but they obviously come down a bit later than turn 1. Still, they're very powerful, and they're going to be essentially our extra threats for 1 mana. And Thought Scour helps fuel them, so that's why we play 4 Thought Scour. Then we also have Snapcaster Mage in the deck, and Snapcaster Mage obviously loves to have a graveyard stock full of instants and sorceries to choose from. So Thought Scour, banning a Lightning Bolt, or a Mana Leak, or a K-Command, or whatever you call it, whatever you want it to be, Snapcaster Mage just has more options, and it makes it a better card. And Thought Scour is also just an instant speeds cantrip for Snapcaster to target, worst case scenario. And then Kolaghan's Command, you can bin creatures off the top of your library, like Delvers, Snapcasters, and these bad boys here, as well as Young Pyromancer, and then buy them back with Kolaghan's Command modes of return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, which again is great in a grindy matchup. Then we play 4 Serum Visions. Serum Visions is the best card in terms of flipping Delver, so you can set up your scries such that you can ensure that when it comes to checking your top of your library for an instant and sorcery, you can increase those odds by scrying an instant or sorcery to the top. So it definitely helps you plan your turns. And then Opt is just a solid instant speed cantrip, pairs well with Snapcaster Mage, pairs well with Young Pyromancer, and is more graveyard fodder, as well as finding the right pieces we need for specific matchups. It's also an instant and sorcery for Delver of Secrets. Then we have some counter magic in the deck, right? Because we're in blue, and the fact is we are a tempo deck, so we play a Delver of Secrets and we start attacking, or we play a Young Pyromancer and we start generating tokens, but it's nice to be able to insulate ourselves from what's in our opponent's hand rather than dealing with things that are only in play. So that means we have cards like Mana Leak, which counters target spell once controller pays 3. We play 3 of these. And then we also play 2 Spell Snare, counter target spell with converted mana cost 2. There's a lot of 2 mana spells in the format, and Spell Snare is just a great tempo card. So it's not necessarily going to counter everything, but it's going to counter... It's going to be very powerful in certain cases where you just like 1 mana counterspell your opponent while you're just swinging out on board or getting ahead on board or whatever it might be. It's a huge tempo swing depending on the board. So that's what I really love about Spell Snare. Alright, and so that's going to be the kind of cantrip counterspell base. Now we start digging into other colors, right? We have black in the deck. That's because we play 2 Fatal Push, just a great 1 mana removal spell. We're in black colors, Grixis colors, so why not have access to one of the most versatile and cheapest and best removal spells in the format, in the form of Fatal Push. Then we also have 2 Terminate, because there's some big stuff in the format. Sometimes Fatal Push can't hit everything, or you don't have a fetch land to trigger it, right? So you play 2 extra Terminates. Target creature destroys and can't be regenerated. This is also great against Hardened Scale's Affinity. But they have a lot of welding jars and things like that. So I definitely like Terminate. It's great against Knight of the Reliquaries, great against Death Shadows and Gurmag Anglers and Hollow Ones and etc. etc. So Terminate definitely picks up some slack. Then we also play 4 Lightning Bolt, because that's the premier red mana removal spell / burn spell. Just a fantastic card. Great card to be snapcastering back, so Snap Bolt is going to be a common line that you'll find with Grixis Delver. And then, of course, 1 of Collective Brutality. This card is pretty versatile. You can use it as Duress, you can use it as removal, you can use it as Drain mode. So it's kind of like an extra burn spell almost. It's like burn spell number, I guess we can call it number 8 because we have these ones up here. And I would definitely play these cards here before Brutality. But essentially, Collective Brutality does so many things that it's nice to have it as a 1 of in your main deck. Then we go to the 3-drop slot here, which is 2 Cade commands that we talked about before. Just a very versatile card, does a lot of different things depending on the matchup. And then a 1 of Electrolyze, because it's also a great card to Snapcaster back, but it's also just a great value card. It's a burn spell that replaces itself. You can clear multiple creatures with Electrolyze sometimes, and it's just a really, really solid card. We don't want to play too much of them because we're not in the business of grinding necessarily, but it's nice to be able to grind if we are put in that position. And Electrolyze does a fantastic job at doing that. So that's going to be the non-land cards. Let's talk about lands here. We have 19 lands. We have 8 fetches, I believe. Sorry, 9 fetches. We have 4 Polluted Delta, 4 Scalding Tarn, 1 Bloodstained Mire. So that's 9 fetches to be able to get the right color of mana that you need on turn 1, because you have 22, it looks like 22 here, 1 mana spells. It's going to be pretty important to be able to cast the right one, right? So 9 fetches. What's nice about fetches too is that Delver of Secrets, you can, once this trigger resolves, you can look at the top card of your library. If it's not an instant, or it's a card that you don't want, then you can shuffle it away after the trigger, but before you draw a card. So there's some nice timing interactions with fetches and Delver, which we call pseudo-scry, kind of. You can kind of pseudo-scry away the top card of your library if you don't like it after you resolve Delver's trigger. Then we have 4 shocks. We have 2 Steam Vents, a Water Grave, and a Blood Crypt. I think Steam Vents is the critical shock land for this deck. Most of our 1 mana spells are going to be either blue or red. But our secondary color is definitely going to be black, so that's why we have 1 of each of the other fetches. We have also 2 islands, a mountain, and a swamp. Sometimes being able to fetch up basic lands is going to be really important for this deck, so just having access to those basic lands goes a long way. And then lastly, we have a Spirebluff Canal here and a Darkslick Shore. 2 fast lands, preserve our life total, get us Colors of Mana online early. Sometimes, I'm in a love-hate relationship because I wonder if I'd rather just play fetches in their place, that way to fuel Tasker and Gurmag earlier. But I think the fact that we save life is pretty okay. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with one of each of these fast lands and call it a day. Alright, so that's a breakdown of the mana base as well as the main deck. Let's go ahead and talk about the sideboard, right? Again, because Delver requires instants and sorceries, I like to have a lot of my sideboard cards also be instants and sorceries. I don't want to have to take out instants from my deck for other cards and then completely screw the ratio of instant sorceries to non-instant sorceries in my deck and make Delver even less consistent than he is in Modern, really. So when I'm given the opportunity to have instant sorcery options for my sideboard hate, then I'm definitely going to go for those for most of the time, right? So Ceremonious Rejection, it's a great instant sorcery. Or instant, that can hate out KCI, Affinity, Tron, and works well with Snapcaster Mage. 2 Dispel, because it's a great instant that interacts with combo and control. 2 Surgical Extraction, because it's an instant that interacts with the graveyard. 2 Thoughtseize, because it's a sorcery that interacts with combo and control. 2 Collective Brutality, because it's a sorcery that interacts with combo, control, aggro, burn, etc. And then 2 Counter Squall, because it's another instant that interacts with combo and control. And you'll notice there's a trend there, right? Combo and control are probably going to be 2 of our tougher matchups, whereas aggressive-based decks we're probably going to be a little bit better against. So most of our sideboard is going to be configured towards that. But then there are some cards that you just can't replace with instant sorceries. One of those is being Engineer Explosives. The fact that we're a 3-color deck and we don't really have answers to enchantments, so Engineer Explosives goes a long way in being able to actually answer those kinds of non-creature permanents, as well as just being great against humans and spirits and all that kind of stuff. Is it Staticaster? An unreplaceable effect in our colors. Just the fact that we can kill Lingering Souls and all these other X1 creatures with Is it Staticaster, as well as put 4 toughness creatures in bolt range. It's definitely relevant. So Is it Staticaster, fantastic card. And then Liliana the Last Hope, also an irreplaceable card for her type of effect. She can rebuy you creatures, she can uptick on little creatures, and her ultimate just obviously wins the game. So that is going to be our breakdown of Grixis Delver for this Under the Microscope series. We're going to run it through 3 matches in the Modern competitive lobbies. So stick around for those, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Alright, what's up, folks? Welcome to the first match here for this Under the Microscope series with Grixis Delver. We won the die roll. Let's go ahead and play first. Take a look at our opener. Ugh. 5 lands, Spell Snare, Bolt. I'm going to mulligan this hand. I'm going to keep this one. 1 land and we're in pretty good business. Even got the Spell Snare on 1. Any land basically lets us cast Mana Leak. So let's hope our opponent is not a Lightning Bolt deck that can clear Delver's secrets out of the way here. And then we might have a fighting chance. Yeah, I don't think it's greedy to mulligan away that 5 land 2 spells because we're not even guaranteed to have those 5 spells line up, so... Alright, basic Swamp. Don't Fatal Push me. Don't Fatal Push me. Ugh, god dang. So, well, off to a great start here. Here my opponent Inquisitions, Raven's Crime. Let's go ahead and bin this Electrolyze. Man, is this just 8-rack and they drew their like 1 or 2 Fatal Push that they probably play main deck? I can't imagine they can afford to play too many of these. So I wonder what my opponent is playing. If we can untap with these Mana Leaks, yeah, looks like this is 8-rack. Alright, there's an Inquisition. Can't do much about that. We're probably going to lose one of these Mana Leaks. We might lose the K command if our opponent is on the plan of playing the rack. Alright, the fact that we don't have a Delver of Secrets applying pressure here is huge. It's the difference between a game win and a game loss, I think. Alright, looks like they took K command there. Well, send it back. This is gonna happen to you from time to time. I guess it's best not to get too tilted here, but it's hard not to. Definitely hard not to. So at least we have Wrench Mind covered. We have Smallpox covered with this Spell Snare, but our opponent could just Raven's Crime us here. And we'll bin the Terminate. And now a Shrieking Affliction would just be... I mean, I guess I don't know. Just them resolving a rack effect here would be the worst, I think. Before we can untap and maybe... Yep. Speak of the devil. Gosh, do they have another... God. Alright, I think we can pretty easily concede soon, but... Well, I guess technically if they don't have more discard effects, but they do also have this Mutavault, so... I guess we can play Tasigur next turn. Discard the Mana Leak. Okay, well, we can play Tasigur next turn. They have an Urborg. God, just another Raven's Crime. Jeez. All right. Now I think I discard the Spell Snare. Take one. I don't even think I play that. This is about where our opponent top decks Lily, and we cry ourselves to sleep. Alright. Can we race Shrieking Affliction plus the rack? Alright. So, discarding Mana Leak means that if they draw an Inquisition or something like that... Alright, their clock is faster than us, though. So, an Inquisition, and then we have another land in hand. Alright, Fatal Push. You can notice how we actually prolonged the game so much that if we had a Delver of Secrets swinging in here, this game could very easily be over. Okay, Animate Mutavault, I like that. Because we're going to Fatal Push this, even though it means we take a bit more damage. Alright, we go to 9. Let's see if our opponent... Now Liliana's not a good draw for my opponent anymore, so that makes me pretty happy. Another rack, okay. But we're up to... We're up to 3 cards in our hand. Oh my god. I guess we keep that on top. Oh god. Smallpox is just insane here. We're gonna go to 4. I wonder if there was some world where we still kept Spell Snare in our hand. If we play Tasigur, we're dead. So let's just go ahead and say go. Hope our opponent doesn't just draw lands to make Raven's Crime work. Hope they draw like an Inquisition of Kozilek. I think we just have to keep saying go here. The more cards we have in our hand, the less damage my opponent deals us. Alright. Back up. I think I'm okay playing Tasigur now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, we cross our fingers and hope our opponent doesn't Wrench Mind us here. Hope they don't Smallpox us. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Dismember. Raven's Crime. Alright. Discard. Oh, I was supposed to discard Snapcaster Mage. Oh, now if they have an Inquisition, we're dead. Inquisition or Thoughtseize kills us now. Oh, what am I doing? Loose. Playing loose, that's what I'm doing. Shrieking Affliction does not kill us. Alright. They have so many draws that kill us. So many draws. A single land is lethal. So here, hopefully they top deck Liliana. Oh my god, did they concede? Oh god. Alright. Let's shake it off a little, because that was not fun. So Counter Squall is great. Engineer Explosives is great. Fatal Push is okay against Mutavault. Terminate is probably pretty bad, though. Electrolyze also doesn't seem to be doing much for us in this matchup. So let's bring these in here. Yeah, maybe Fatal... I mean, the fact we already have 4 Bolt. And Collective Brutality... I mean, I guess Collective Brutality gains life. That's not the worst. I wonder if a Surgical Extraction is reasonable against a Raven's Crime. I don't think so. I think that's like a 0 for 1, basically, so... But if we have cards to bring in, maybe we bring in our own Thoughtseizes. Could also bring in Liliana. She's a alternate win condition, which means we don't have to deploy as much onto the board. Interesting. Ceremony Surjection hits the rack, but that's about it. So I'm not too happy about those. Collective Brutality hits their discard in their hand. Not the worst. Maybe I want one of Collective Brutality and one Surgical, because Raven's Crime can really get out of control in the late game. Kind of like that. Yeah. Let's run it. Let's see. I'm not one for siding in Surgical Extraction very often, but I think this is one of those cases where it might actually help us. Alright, lands and spells. Let's keep. Oh, I'm on the play. Is that so? Okay, well. Probably want to bottom both of these. Just look for more actual threats. Next turn we could go Thought Scour ourselves, fetch, play Tassiger, which could be pretty nice. I guess that's not really happening anymore though. Right, so I expected, that's why I was looking for another threat. I expected my opponent to have some sort of disruption for this Tassiger. Yep, there goes Tassiger. I wonder if they brought in Surgical. Because they could run us out of threats, theoretically. Alright, opt. See what my opponent wants to do here. Have another Raven's Crime me. I guess I'll opt first, see if there's something else I'd rather discard than a land. Probably want to bottom this Thought Scour. I guess I just bin a Delta. They're gonna Raven's Crime me again. Alright. Alright, now I'll Thought Scour myself. Find a K command. That's pretty good. So here I probably discard this Steam Vents. Shock, play that, say go. We can K-command back Tasigur. And then have a clock in play. Alright. Could we see a Liliana here? Liliana wouldn't be the worst. Oh, they're just playing out the rack. Oh gosh. Could they have a Shrieking Affliction here as well? Shrieking Affliction, alright. And nothing else. That's going to be really nice. So this is... Ooh. Wrong modes. Return target creature, destroy target artifact. Return Tasigur, destroy the rack. That's a good one. That's a good exchange. Oof. So I think I'm happy Serum Vision's in here. Definitely want Snapcaster Mage. Now we get to even hold up Mana Leak. Guess we've been the Thought Scour. Tasigur is just the best right now. Not only the best, but his ability he replaces himself multiple times, which is really good against 8-rack. And now we even have Mana Leak protection up against Liliana. Or Smallpox. Or Bantus. Whatever it may be, we have protection. Alright, we take 3, but our opponent is taking 4. We're drawing Snapcaster Mage, so we have Mana Leak backup still for next turn. We have Bolt Snap Bolt as well, if our opponent goes for a discard effect that we don't want to Mana Leak. So we've got a lot of good things going on here. I think our opponent's going to be... they're under the gun here to do something. Another Mutavault. That's annoying. Another Bantu's Reckoning, maybe? Alright. Interesting, they tapped extra. Well, worst case scenario, this Snapcaster, even if they have a surgical targeting the Mana Leak, this Snapcaster Mage will at least eat up the Smallpox. And now I just have the much faster clock. Now my opponent could be baiting me. They could have another Bantus, but I think that's a risk I'm willing to take. Opponent could have the rack here. And the fact that they extra tapped... Oh, they're just going to get in here? Interesting. Would I block? No, I think not. Ooh. Now I'm very happy that I didn't block. I just have the faster clock. My opponent is basically dead. Ooh, what is this? Did they have a Delve? Raven's Crime. Alright, we're going to counter squall that. And they're pretty tight on black sources, so I'm not even worried about Smallpox or Liliana of the Veil. And now they can only animate one of these Mutavaults, which makes this bolt lethal. The rack, sure. I'm going to take 5 on my turn. But my opponent now has to chump, but they don't know that they're dead, so... We've been sandbagging this bolt for quite a while. Gurmy Wormy. Let's swing in here. Bolt. Take 6. Good game. I could have done this any other way. I could have let the damage through and then bolt them face. But we know they're on 0 cards, so... Indeed, it was lethal. So, that was the first match here against Mono Black the Rack. Hope you enjoyed that first match here with Grixis Delver. We got to see the power of 1 mana threats against a land destruction play in that first game against Smallpox and things like that. And it got there. Oddly enough, our opponent's Urborg fixed their own mana, which was great. Anyways, thanks so much for watching that first match here with Grixis Delver, and stay tuned for the second match for this Under the Microscope series coming up in just a moment. Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the second match here for this Under the Microscope series with Grixis Delver. Let's go ahead and play first. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep this. I don't know if this is a matchup where I can... I don't want to get a Steam Vents here, even though it would fix my mana. And it also would get the shuffle out of the way for the Scribe. But if my opponent is on Blood Moon or some sort of aggressive deck, I'd like to have the option of fetching a basic. So, let's just go ahead and Serum Visions here. I kind of like Thought Scour. Don't think we need another Mana Leak considering we're looking for more lands at this point. So Thought Scour, I believe, will enable us to play Tasigur next turn. Alright, burn. Yeah, this is exactly what I was worried about. So Thought Scour goes 1, 2, 3 into the yard. 4 fetches 5, so... Another land, not the best. Let's go ahead and get our basics. Ooh, I guess I was supposed to fetch first, in case I mill my basic swamp. Alright. There's our threat on turn 2. Let's see if we get Eidolon here. I think most hands where your burn opponent Lava Spikes you on turn 1 means they probably have an Eidolon on 2. Magma Jet. Alright, budget burn. Easy living here. Yeah, budget burn should be a pretty smooth matchup. As long as we find our fetches, I think we'll be okay. I guess even a shock land here would be fine. Delver, huh? I think I'll just opt looking for a land. Yeah, put on top. Let's go ahead and swing in here for 4. We are taking our Mana Leak shields down this turn, but... Actually, I think I won't. I think I'm going to shock it in. That way, if we draw an untapped land next turn, we can go Snap Leak. Alright, so we got a bit rewarded, but hopefully we don't get, like, just totally wrecked. How did my opponent scry, by the way? They went top, bottom, so they're drawing a card they want. I think I say okay here. Make him commit 1 more burn spell. Yeah. And a land. So that turned out well for us. I guess technically we still took 3 from the Searing Blaze, so it's almost like a 1-for-1. So now that I think about it, maybe it wasn't the best. Another... Alright, we attack here. I think we just play Delver and then ambush Viper in Snapcaster Mage for more beatdowns. Alright, they have another land. Do they have another Searing Blaze? Eidolon. Alright, let's try to lock you out of your own Eidolon here. Whatever. Yes, definitely want to reveal that. So 4, 7, 9. If our opponent doesn't block here, they're locked under their own Eidolon. Interesting. Yeah, And now they should be dead, I believe. They have their own idol on here. We have a flyer. Sure. Yeah. All right. Okay. We got there. We got there. Idol unlocked our opponent. That's always the sweetest thing to do against Burn. Definitely want to bring in these collective brutalities. Dispel, also quite nice in this matchup. Counterspell we can consider if we have enough things to take out, but it's kind of expensive for a counterspell effect. Kind of expensive, kind of mana hungry. Terminate's a bit expensive. We have Bolt and Fatal Push already. I don't like having too many cantrips in this matchup as well. I think we just want to interact more often. So I like cutting the Ops and the Terminates. If we want to bring in the Brutalities and the Dispels. Electrolyze is definitely not where we want to be, so we probably just want the Counter Squall over that. And K-Command is super slow, so just another Counter Squall in there. Be low to the ground, efficient, interactive. I think that's the best way to do it against Burn. Okay, so we got a Brutality, so that's an easy keep for me. But it's scratch to the bottom. Happy to see that. See if they have a turn 1 burn creature. Alright, Lava Spike. Great. Now that I actually drew that Polluted Delta, I think it's actually correct to use the Polluted Delta here. Alternatively, I could save these fetches for quite a bit. Alright, Rift Bolt. I think I want to start looking for a threat like Tasigur. Bolt, not a horrible pickup. Let's just go ahead and start escalating some brutalities. Gain 2 life and make him discard. Questions would I probably just want to discard the Serum Visions here, I think. Whoo! That's a hand. Just gonna take one of the Lightning Bolts. It's one of the most efficient cards my opponent has in their hand right now. We can work towards going Snap, Brutality, and then my opponent's in a rough spot. Just Lava Spike me, sure. Interesting. Alternatively, we could go Snap Serum Visions. I don't like that very much. So I'm just going to go ahead and play a land tapped and say go. I don't want my opponent to be able to play a land on their turn and then Searing Blaze my Snapcaster Mage. I'd rather put them in a pretty uncomfortable spot here. And I think every card we keep in our hand is going to be pretty valuable for collective brutality escalations. Alright, Rift Bolt. Mana Leak. Well, not a bad card. See, we still have another island in our deck, right? Yes. That's always the fear with Thought Scours, like you accidentally bend your basic land. So now we'll go ahead and Snapcaster Mage, escalate the brutality, probably pitch the Steam Vents. We'll go up to 12, get another card out of my opponent's hand. Question is, do we take the Searing Blaze or the Lightning Bolt? Kind of want to take the Searing Blaze, almost. Because if my opponent rips a land, then I don't have a clock anymore, and clock is going to be really important. Target opponent discards and loses 2 life. Yeah, so, yeah, I let him keep a Lightning Bolt, but At least it means I have a clock, and that's okay. We're up to 12. Oh, all right. They have a Rift Bolt still. That's pretty good. All right, but now we hopefully will start getting to untap with counter magic. Just lightning bolts me, it looked like. Yep. Oh, man, yeah. This is great way to untap. We want to go snap something. I think I'll just lightning bolt my opponent here. I don't want to take away mana leak mana. And then that gives us the option to snap mana leak, snap bolt next turn. Definitely want to close out this game sooner rather than later, though. It's definitely the kind of game that we don't win if it goes longer. Alright, that's a Thought Scour. Still going to want to hold up mana leak. Oh, opponent plays nothing. Swift Spear. Interesting. Doesn't feel like mana leaking that is very much worth it. I think I'm just going to snap bolt it. Alright, Gurmag Angler is really good. Wow. Now I don't think my opponent can win from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play that. Play that. Keep up. Double mana leak. What you got for me, buddy? Yep, sometimes you just get stuck on one land with burn, and that's the name of the game. You get brutality'd, snap brutality'd, and you get out-tempoed by the mana leaks. Alright, that was second match here, right, with Grixis Delver. So we're 2-0 so far in this Under the Microscope series. That's awesome. God, I'm already forgetting what we played against in round 1. 8-rack. We played against 8-rack round 1 and budget burn round 2. So, well, it's not really giving you an idea of how well the deck is doing in the meta, but it definitely goes to show that the deck is powerful and does powerful things. Anyways, stay tuned for the third and final match for this Under the Microscope series coming up in just a few moments. I'll see you guys soon. Okay, what's up, folks? Welcome back to the third and final match here with Grixis Delver for this Under the Microscope series. We are on the draw, but we have a pretty reasonable opener here, right? 3 lands, cantrip, a counterspell, and double Delver. Seems pretty good to me. Ooh, could be Storm. Spell Snare is pretty good. Oh my gosh, the mirror! The mirror! Well, this could just be like Blue-Red Wizards, though, so it's not really the mirror, but they have a bit more bolts than we do, so I think their Delvers might be significantly better than ours. Also, they got to play it off of Spirebuff Canal. Well, they didn't flip Delver. That's always a good sign. Ooh. We have the backup Delver. I'm going to trade, considering I think they're the aggressors in this matchup, and we're a little more controlling. They have another Delver, maybe? Maybe like a Serum Visions or an Opt. Yeah, Opt, look for a land, maybe. Scry to the top. Found a land. Good stuff, good stuff. Another Delver. Sure. Me too. Me too. Quite the mirror match here. See if my opponent gets to flip their Delver this time around. And they do, revealing Mana Leak. Well, we have that Spell Snare, so it's kind of nice. Opponent gonna get the first hit in here. So with Delver, remember we have the Pseudo Scry capability with our fetch land, so alright, they're gonna go ahead and opt. Feel free. Although we could just opt ourselves. Alright, Serum Visions. Yep. Yeah, we probably want to find like a lightning bolt or a fatal push pretty soon. So maybe I'm just supposed to opt here. Yep, I kind of like that. My opponent opted to the bottom, which is nice, and they scryed, but they scryed 2 cards at the top. Oh shoot! Well, I clicked through the. Do I want Thought Scour? I already have double cantrip, so I don't think so. Mana Leak. I feel like I'm gonna lose the race here. So, well, gosh, I'm making all these misplays. I think I'm supposed to opt main phase, see if I find the bolt. But at this point, I'm definitely wanting to trade. All right, looks like we don't necessarily get the opportunity to trade. So, ooh, Gurmag Angler. Definitely want that. My opponent wants to Wizard's Lightning my Insectile Aberration now. They could do that. Could also click me, I guess. Nimble Obstructionist. Oh, jeez. That is not something I was playing around. So let's hope to find another fetch here. It's not a fetch. Uh-oh. Alright. Always had it. Always had it. Come on, guys. You know me. I always come prepared. In fact, that was the bait. That was the bait. And now our Gurmag Angler gets to resolve. Come on. Come on, opponent. So the reason I'm not running out this Young Pyromancer is because they could easily have a single removal spell that kills that, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So exiling my whole yard, not great when I have a Snapcaster in hand, but I think it's going to be pretty important for us to keep up Mana Leak here. And if we can find like a Fatal Push or a Lightning Bolt, I think we're going to be in a pretty nice position. Unfortunately, we can't Mana Leak opposing Lightning Bolts now, and the fact is we know about one of our opponent's Mana Leaks, so we wouldn't really be doing that anyways, but ooh. Ooh, do they have the Spell Snare? Well, I'm gonna Mana Leak this, but alright, looks like they have the Snare. Or the Pierce, maybe? Yeah, the Snare. Fair enough. Now they have a lot of flyers. Can we beat the race without any removal? Definitely need like a Lightning Bolt off the top. Terminate would do it. Collective Brutality would be insane here. Yeah. My opponent's looking at my hand. They're like, I can beat this. Still no attacks. Let's see what we draw here. Watery Grave, not really gonna do it for us, huh? What happens if we just attack? Put our opponent on a... What if they have Bolt Snap Bolt or Bolt Wizard's Lightning? Or Wizard Lightning Snap Wizard's Lightning? At least we have the Spell Snare for that. So at this point I think it's time for me to start getting aggressive here. I think I'm officially on the back foot. Okay. Young Peasy. And now I have lethal on the board, so that's something. And I can snare a Snapcaster Mage. Okay, yeah, so that's why I liked attacking with the Delver there, because I didn't think I was actually going to get through with it. Now Bolt for us is lethal. Ooh. Shoot. So I think we're dead here. I don't think we made any major misplays though. I think it's just a matter of not drawing removal in a deck that's full of removal. So That's just gonna happen every now and again. Opponent saw Bolt, I didn't. Alright, let's take it to game 2. Again, I think we were a pretty good favorite for that game. I mean, yeah, well, tis a shame. Tis a shame, but we'll go ahead and go back. Staticaster is pretty good. Brutalities are pretty good. I like Thoughtseize in this matchup as well. Liliana the Last Hope is not the worst. Dispel is definitely good here. Counter Squall could also be reasonable. So let me get these out of here. Engineer Explosives, I'm actually not a huge fan of in this matchup. God, I feel like we should already be so favored if we just draw the cards we need. So maybe Thoughtseize is just a little too, like, this could become an like if it's an aggro match, then Thoughtseize gets really bad. Whereas these are actually live top decks. Liliana is kind of hard to resolve, but she's pretty good against some of my opponent's things. I think these are cards I definitely want to bring in, plus these Dispels, and then these are like maybes. Maybe Collective Brutality is not as good as I think it is. It's extra removal, but it's a bit slow. Although doing that plus discarding and killing a Delver on like turn 2, maybe we can take out some of our cantrips just to free up some space in the deck. Definitely want the spell snares. Maybe we can trim a Mana Leak because we're bringing in all these spells. And the Staticaster. God. Maybe Counter Squall is a little too narrow. But I really like these cards. Maybe I like them too much. Maybe it's too slow. Having threats is important, and having removal is important, so I'm a little conflicted. But maybe we can... No, K-Command also seems like a solid 2-for-1 at instant speed. Maybe I just don't want to be the person casting Mana Leak in a control mirror. Maybe I just want actual answers. Because if the game drags out, Mana Leak becomes a really bad top deck. So it's kind of hard to tell what direction this game will take, but... yeah, I think that's a keep. We've got Young Pyromancer. We have Collective Brutality as well. Lead on the Spire Bluffs. Go Thought Scour. Hope to draw like a Tasigur. Our opponent has a really tough time dealing with a Resolved Tasigur, so... alright, let's see if we can eat a Delver here on turn 1. Delver. Solid. Hopefully we don't bin our basic swamp. Delver's not a bad pickup, and a nice graveyard for Snapcaster Mage. But here, I think the correct line is probably just going to be to do this with 2 modes. Target opponent reveals their hand, target creature gets -2. I think I bin the basic mountain. This can get me like a Watery Grave or a Blood Crypt or something. Sweet. So we get a Remand out of my opponent's hand, and we get or a Wizard's Lightning. I kind of want to take the Remand. Next turn I can go Delver plus Young Pyromancer. Opponent's hand is okay though. I drew the Watery Grave, so... let's see if they drew another 2-mana interaction spell. Did they just draw like a spell? Ugh, Remand. Well, at least we got something else to follow up here. My opponent might click me on my draw step, in which case I'll go ahead and Snapcaster Bolt it. It could do it main phase to play around counter magic. Yeah, it looks like that's what they might be doing here. Yeah, so they're going to take the Snapcaster Mage, and we're going to hope to hit another removal spell off the top. Alright, that's a Fatal Push. I'll take it. Means Delver doesn't flip, unfortunately, but... Ooh, oh man. Alright. Opponent is in a pickle. I think I actually get a Steam Vents here. Now we have Young Peasy going. Our opponent has a pretty good hand, though. So, swing in here for 3. Got this Dispel. Our opponent could just go land, lightning, snap, lightning, which would be pretty good. But again, we'll use this Dispel wisely, protect the cards we want to protect. I'm not actually sure which one is better for my opponent. Oh, Young Grimlaw. That is... Wow, that is good. Wizard's Lightning. Well, I'll dispel that. Maybe we can draw another removal spell for this, or we don't. I think I'm actually happy trading here. This Grim Lavamancer is going to do so much damage to us down the road. Ugh, my opponent has a really solid hand left. Just the fact that they have that Snapcaster Mage left around means that they might have won the grind. It looks like they're gonna Grim Lava. Oh, just Burst Lightning. Just have it all. Oh gosh. And now they can Grim Lavamancer down my Delver. Well, do I even play that? I don't think I do. Our opponent's just going to Grim Lavamancer it down, so I'd rather wait till I maybe have some more, like a removal spell for that Grim Lavamancer. Thankfully, my opponent still has a bit of a reactive hand right now, but they're close to turning the corner. So this Delver Mirror is not lining up in our favor right now. I thought we had a pretty good start, but once we lost that Snapcaster Mage, that was definitely a concern. And now this Grim Lavamancer is just shredding us to pieces. Well, that's okay. Okay. Target me, right? Definitely want to play this now. Alright. Oh, they just conceded? What? What? Why would they concede? I guess we were drawing pretty well, but... Oh, that seemed like a little bit of an early concession to me. Not that I'm complaining, but... So, I'm going to do something a little radical here. I'm going to cut the Delvers. Yeah, let's be the control deck. I'm going to be the control deck. I mean, I'm not complaining, but that's... I guess I'll keep. It's got turn 2 Leak, turn 3 K Command. It's a little soft to a turn 1 Delver, though. I want to start getting these fetches out of the way. I think they're to make Nimble Obstructionist not like a thing. Hopefully we don't get Shadow of Doubted here. get a Steam Vents tapped. That could be good next turn. I'm just going to go ahead and play this. See if my opponent has like a, alright, an opt. Fair enough. And they can click me on my draw step. Relic is fine. I don't care about Relic very much right now. Relic is always annoying because it's hard to tell the board state, like, and how many, sorry, not the board state, but like the status of your opponent's cards in his. I think I was actually supposed to get basic Swamp there, but I think that's okay. My opponent has a counterspell here. I can counter back, and they don't have Spell Snare available. Don't think there's a 1-mana counterspell that deals with Thoughtseize right now. Maybe they're thinking about wanting to flash in a Snapcaster Mage, in which case I'll Mana Leak the Snapcaster Mage and hope my opponent has another non-land card in their hand. If they don't, we're probably in a good spot. Whew, that's a lot of burn. That is a lot of burn spells. But I think we just take the Snappy and untap with Mana Leak, and yeah. Eventually we can K-command down this Relic of Progenitus. So it stops eating away at our graveyard. Opponent draws a land. So the reason I want to play an island there was to hold up K-Command plus Spell Snare, as well as hold up Mana Leak. My opponent could play something like a Grim Lavamancer here, which is why I'm going to wait till end step to really do this. Yeah. Ooh, but then they can just fire these off, deal 9? But can we stop that? Can we reasonably stop that any other way? Not really. So destroy an artifact, deal 2 here, red, black, blue. Our opponent can put us down to 6 and just go empty-handed, but it also means they don't get to cycle this relic. Alright, so they cycle the relic. Alright, that happened. Great. We're at a healthy life total. I'm going to go and fetch right now to play around Nimble Obstructionist. And now I've got a lot of counter magic. My opponent's got a lot of burn, though. A lot of burn. I wonder if Snap K-Command is a little greedy here. I think it is. I think we have so much counter magic in our hand that I'm okay just letting the game draw out a bit. Wonder if my opponent fires off one of these Wizard's Lightnings now? No, not yet. Okay. Maybe they're thinking I'm holding on to some creatures? I guess that's possible. Alright, now we have a lot of removal, but again, my opponent is kind of a burn deck. I'm going to try to get a 2-for-1 here. Don't know if it's going to work in my favor. I'll try to dispel that. Don't know if I'm going to... If their last card in hand is good, then... Well... So here, I think I'm going to want to convert the Snapcaster Mage into something reasonable, so bolt my opponent, because we know the last 3 cards in their hand, so. Spell Snare there, because now we can't K-Command anymore, so again, I'd rather snap back something. Still have the Terminate in hand for removal. Opponent uses their Lightning Bolt instead of their Wizard's Lightning, which is really interesting. This seems like a good opportunity to just get rid of that. Well, hopefully we can draw our cantrips, like a Serum Visions or something soon. So we're getting to the stage where Mana Leak is not really protecting us from anything. Electrolyze. That's a nice pickup. Interesting. 4 mana, 5 mana. What in the world? Burst Lightning. Well, I'm going to convert this Mana Leak right now because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The chances of me actually converting this Mana Leak into something good anytime soon is pretty low. So I'm going to save this Electrolyze. I'm going to Thought Scour myself right now. Hope to hit a Delve threat. Wow, milled 2 Delve threats. Come on, deck. Come on. Give me something to work with here. Yep, now they start Wizards Lightning me. Makes sense. So they have 2 unknowns in their hand. I wonder if it's time to Electrolyze. I feel like it is, just because we need some stuff to do here. Our opponent is catching up. Thoughtseize. Doesn't feel... Alright, I'm going to just Serum Visions first. Snapcaster Mage is really good. Gonna go ahead and keep that one. Don't want to Thoughtseize right now. If my opponent Wizard Lightning me, then that's fine. I wonder if they have Snapcaster Mage now. No Snappy. Snappy would be a really good 2-for-1. Well, thankfully we can kill that Grim Lavamancer. What a grind. What a grind. Now we have Snap K Command as well, with Dispel backup. To me, that seems pretty good, but they could also have Nimble Obstructionist, which is a really hard card to interact with. They could stifle my Snap Trigger. Okay, command. Return target creature, target player discards a card. I think I want to return Tasigur, make them discard. Wow, that just happens. Discard a land. I guess I could have Thought Scoured now. So now that's a good thing we held on to that Thoughtseize in our hand, so. Because this is one way to convert it. Oh, wow, they just let that resolve. And they concede. Alright, so even if they double bolted us there, we would go back up to 6, play Tasigur, put them down to 5. And then lethal next turn with the spell backup. So I'm not going to pretend like we played perfectly that game, but I think that was a pretty sweet Delver mirror. And I liked siding out the Delvers in that game 3. I think maybe I should have even done that for game 2. They just had a bunch of dead bolts in their hand, and I had, you know, interaction. So yeah, eventually those bolts can always go upstairs, but I think it's better for those bolts to go upstairs than for them to trade with one of our cards, especially if we can control our life total with like dispels and removal for their creatures. Wow, that was a great game. Great finish for that Under the Microscope series against Blue-Red Wizards, the fun Delver mirror. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and stay tuned for the closing comments coming up in just a moment. I'll see you guys soon. Alright guys, welcome back to the closing comments here. With our Under the Microscope series with Grixis Delver. So Grixis, Delver of Secrets, I think is a very underrated card in Modern. I think people have just assumed that, you know, Death Shadow is the superior build, but I can't even say that that's necessarily true. I think Delver of Secrets has considerably better matchups against some of the top tier decks. I think your control matchup is better. I think your aggro matchup is better, and so Death Shadow, while it's great against combo-centric decks like KCI, might even have a slightly better Tron matchup, only slightly. I do think that there's merit to playing a turn 1 threat followed up by turn 2 plus interaction. I'm a huge fan of Delver of Secrets in Modern, and I know that many people will disagree, but I really do think it's an underrated card. And the card showed its strength here in these matches. The fact that you have these 1-mana threats is really great. You have Delver of Secrets. We were constrained on 1 mana against 8-Rack, and we just drew our 1-mana threats. We drew Delver and we drew Tasigur, and we were still able to win, even though our opponent just basically kept us off of 2 lands for so long. And it's weird because, you know, against 8-Rack, it's not that we didn't draw the lands. We had the lands, but we just couldn't afford to play them or else we would die. And so that's what I really like about Delver. It's the fact that it's a very efficient deck. 22 1-drops. The chance of you drawing 1 to 2 lands and one of these cards is so high, it almost makes almost every hand keepable. I mean, not every hand, but you have just this large density of your spells are at converted mana cost 1 to 2, which lets you interact more often in games of Magic. It leads to less non-games, and it's just, generally you're playing a more powerful game. You're very efficient. So that's what I really love about Grixis Delver. It's what I've always loved about Grixis Delver. I'm a little rusty in terms of my piloting of the deck, but it's just a fantastic deck. It's a fantastic deck doing some fantastic things. I really like this configuration. Specifically, I think it handles a lot of different things going on in the Modern format, and it capitalizes on the strengths of the deck. I like having Young Pyromancer in the main deck as just another threat. I considered Vendilion Click in the past, but I think Young Pyromancer is just a little bit better than Vendilion Click. Even though it doesn't have flying, it generates tokens on the ground, and that can get the job done pretty well in most cases. So that's my feelings on this Grixis Delver deck. I think our sideboard was pretty nice here. Again, I prefer Surgical versus some other types of Graveyard Hate. I know it's not the cheapest card, but I do think it's probably superior in a Delver deck. Is it Static Caster, Liliana, Engineer Explosives? All these cards are flex spots that I think are reasonable to not be instants or sorceries in your sideboard. And again, Thoughtseize comes in even in those you know, blue mirrors a lot, which is, it's nice to have. So you're in black colors. It's good to take advantage of the tools that black offers, which is hand disruption. It really sets you ahead in the blue mirrors. But yeah, I think that's all I'm going to cover for today's Under the Microscope series. It's been a while since I did an Under the Microscope, but I think Grixis Delver is the perfect deck to do an Under the Microscope series with. I hope you enjoyed watching it. I was very happy to play it. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Grixis Delver. And if you want to see some more of it, let me know. And I'll do my best to make sure to play it in the upcoming schedule. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.